Hi, my name is Azura Griffin from Robina Group. We often have clients asking questions about the benefits of on-site managers, so we decided to ask an expert to help us out. I'd like to welcome Alex Cook from Resort Brokers, who's going to answer a few questions. So Alex, what are some of the advantages of having an on-site manager?
I think the advantages of having on-site management are quite varied and quite numerous. I'll go into some specifics in a second, but I think a good starting point to understanding why on-site management is a beneficial model to operate your asset is largely because the on-site manager also owns a unit within the scheme. When you purchase a management rights business, you buy the management rights and you buy manager's residence. So what that means is the on-site manager is effectively in the same boat as every other person who's bought within that scheme. They have the same vested interests, they have the same aspirations. They want the complex to look very good, they want it to be well maintained, they want it to operate well, to maintain the value of their asset and hopefully to get some capital gain when they sell further down the line. If you compare that to the alternative, which is off-site management, from a caretaking point of view, you may have gardeners coming in once or twice a week, a team of gardeners doing 2 or 3 hours. They're simply rushing to get off and do their next job. It's one of maybe 20 or 30 complexes they're looking after. From a letting point of view, the alternative is an outside agent who's typically on a salary basis, and again, they're there to let the unit as quickly as possible and to move on to the next unit with another complex which they need to let. So I think first and foremost, that's what you need to bear in mind, is the management rights operator is just like everyone else who's bought a unit within that scheme. They want it to work well, they have a vested interest in it.
Are tenants screened by the on-site manager?
Absolutely. Tenants are always screened by the on-site manager. I suppose partly on an official basis and partly on a gut instinct basis. There's a service which is referred to as TICA, T-I-C-A. I couldn't actually tell you off the top of my head what the acronym is, but that's an online service that records all of renters' past tenancy history. So if a tenant has been in a previous complex and they haven't paid or they've created noise problems, it will be recorded on there. So one of the first things that an on-site manager will do when they're receiving an application from a tenant is to have a look on TICA to see if they have a bad history. I suppose what probably singles out on-site managers in being able to perhaps be a better judge of that is that they also live within the scheme. So they are very conscious of creating a harmonious community which works for everyone within that complex. So I suppose they're able to make a gut feeling in relation to who's going to be most suitable. On-site managers will typically, because they're able to advertise via A-frames at the front of their complex and through walk-ins, they'll typically have a waiting list of people ready to move in. So whereas an off-site manager may be slightly limited in relation to who they can pick from, an on-site manager will typically have 5 or 6. So they'll be able to go with the person with the gut feeling who's going to be most suitable for that complex.
Alex, what maintenance does the on-site manager deal with?
The on-site manager deals with a variety of maintenance. The majority of the maintenance that they deal with will be outlined within the caretaking agreement. The caretaking agreement will quite specifically outline the duties that they have to fulfill to maintain the common areas. So that will be items in regards to mowing lawns, maintaining the pool, looking after barbecue areas, sweeping driveways, etc., etc. So that is for what they are paid a body corporate salary on an annual basis. One of the advantages of having an on-site manager, I suppose, is whenever maintenance work that pops up that is outside of the caretaking agreement, one-offs, so to speak. For example, if the front entry gate breaks for some reason, your on-site manager is there. As soon as it's broken, he knows that it's broken. He'll have a database of the best tradies in the area to deal with that problem. He's able to jump on that problem straight away, get 3 quotes. Not only is he able to get that fixed in a very timely manner, but also in the most cost-effective manner, which obviously has the least impact on the sinking fund for the complex.
And what do you think of the Robina area in regards to anyone buying management rights?
The Robina area in regards to the sale of management rights is probably the most popular suburb that we currently deal with on the Gold Coast. Rental demand is very strong here. It's a very new, modern, vibrant, up-and-coming suburb. And most importantly, the amenities that are on hand here are quite phenomenal. You know, being in walking distance to the shopping centre, having a university here, obviously close to Bond University, close to the M1, easy to get down to the beaches. It's quite unique in that respect, that it has so many amenities, is so modern, and is also so well located. So I suppose I suppose buying Robina, it has the same advantages to those people looking to purchase a unit here. Those are the same advantages to someone looking to purchase a business here. It's certainly a very, very popular area at the moment.
Alex, can you sum up the key advantages, in your opinion, of having an on-site manager?
If you're an investor who owns a unit within a complex with an on-site manager, there's quite a few additional benefits. First and foremost, vacancy rates and rents across the board tend to be quite a bit higher. From a vacancy rate point of view, on-site managers, as I've mentioned before, typically retain waiting lists of people to move in the complex, simply because they're able to deal with walk-ins. I often hear stories of complexes where the on-site manager has a waiting list for people. There may be one unit which is just randomly rented by an outside agent, and it just stays vacant for several weeks, whereas they've actually got people ready to move in. So it's quite a powerful story, that, I think. Typically, on-site managers, again, by picking the right tenants, will get slightly higher rents as well. Also, an interesting point with on-site managers is when it comes to repairs and maintenance. If you're using an external agent, if your tap breaks, for example, you will have to get a plumber in, and there'll be a call-out charge for that. With an on-site manager, they're there. They can nip into your unit. There'll be a pre-agreed rate for doing additional maintenance work, which will be a lot less than getting an outside contractor to do it. So certainly your typical day-to-day maintenance within your unit can be done a lot cheaper with an on-site management. So those are probably the three major advantages: lower vacancy rate, higher rent, and cheaper ongoing maintenance.